How's it going, my fellow collectors? It's me again, back with another review video, and this time it's of the Hot Toys Star Wars Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, and it is the MMS 452. Just got this figure in the mail today, and we're gonna go ahead and start the review off with the source information. The second part of the old Star Wars series, Empire Strikes Back, was my favorite Star Wars movie of all, even of the prequels. I liked it even better than Revenge of the Sith. I know that a lot of people give hate to Revenge of the Sith Episode 3, but in my eyes it wasn't that bad. I agree it could have been better, but it wasn't as bad as everybody makes it out to be. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on Episode 3, just check out my review of the Hot Toys Anakin Skywalker figure. But since we are talking about Empire, the movie was, as I said, my favorite Star Wars movie. You can't beat the reveal of Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father. I don't think no one saw that coming when the movie first came out in theaters. So, since it's one of my favorite movies, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10. Alright. So, this pose, I decided to start off with just, you know, him taking out his lightsaber and getting ready for battle. Just a basic pose, really. And I did put in the lightsaber arm, so I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. This arm, this light up arm, is a huge pain in the rear to put on the figure. So I'm sad to say that for the rest of the review, it's just gonna have the light up arm on it. I'm going to have to work my poses around that, because I don't want to have to take it off and then put it back on, because it took me forever to put it on. So I'll cover more of that in the outfit and accessories categories. So stick with me, guys, and we're gonna move on to the next category. Alright, so we've made it to the category of packaging. And there's really not much to say about it. It's the themed Star Wars box that all the Star Wars figures come in for Hot Toys. The basic V shape, as you can tell, that runs along the sides with gray and black coloring. And then the Star Wars logo is with a glossy silverish type color. And on the bottom it says MMS 452 Darth Vader 1/6 scale collectible figure. And on the bottom left you have the Movie Masterpiece Series logo, and on the bottom right you have the Hot Toys logo. And in the smack dab in the middle you have the Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back figure right in the middle. And on the left side you have nothing much going on. It's just the dividing color of the gray and the black running diagonally. And on the bottom you have the Star Wars logo again. MMS 452 Darth Vader 1/6 scale collectible figure. And on the right side it's the same thing, the division between the gray and the black with a line running diagonally. And again you get the Star Wars logo and the Darth Vader Hot Toys logo, with also the Disney logo on the left hand bottom corner. And then on the back it says Hot Toys presents Movie Masterpiece Series. Movie Masterpiece logo right there. MMS 452 Darth Vader 1/6 scale collectible figure. Got the Hot Toys logo again with all the Hot Toys information. The Secret Base logo, the Toy Hunters logo, and all the warning and blah blah stuff that nobody really reads, along with the barcode on the very bottom. And then on the top, it's just a matte black color with the Star Wars logo right in the middle. And the same thing on the bottom, except this time it's black stripe down the middle with the two gray stripes on the sides. So that's about it. Once we crack open the box, you get a cool slipcover of the Darth Vader figure with the iconic pose of Darth Vader telling Luke Skywalker that he's his father and that he should join him in the dark side to rule the galaxy as father and son. And then once we remove the slipcover, you get the blister with all of the accessories and the figure itself inside included. And there are the batteries. So yeah, it's a pretty big box because it does come with the diorama base, but other than that it's pretty basic. Since it does come in the thematic style of the Star Wars line of Hot Toys, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. Because, like I said, it's just very basic, so not really much to it. Alright, so stick with me guys and we'll roll on to the next category. Alright. So I just thought I'd show you guys what this whole setup looks like with all the light features on, with no extra lights. So you got his chest box and 2 boxes on his belt also that light up, and the lightsaber. So yeah, real nice. And here we go. Let me just turn the room lights on. Okay. Now we've reached the category of likeness. And I've been hearing a lot of reviewers say that the likeness isn't there and they don't think it portrays very well the Darth Vader of The Empire Strikes Back. In my own personal opinion, I don't really find anything wrong with it. I mean, it's Darth Vader. You look at it and that's instantly what you think. But people still feel the need to nitpick, and I think that they should just like all chill out. I mean, it's a guy in a mask. It's not even a real face that we're comparing, you know? It's a mask and a helmet. So how much difference could there really be? So yeah, in my opinion, the likeness is there for Darth Vader of The Empire Strikes Back. I've recently just been watching some clips of the movie just to refresh my memory of what he looks like. So there are some people that say that the helmet is a little bit too high above the eyebrows, and I don't know, something about the cheeks. They say that the helmet is a little bit too long, should be shorter. I just think everybody should just chill out a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, in my opinion, it does the job, you know. It's Darth Vader from Empire Strikes Back, so what more could you ask for, you know? And what is a pretty cool feature about the likeness of this particular figure is the helmet. So you can remove it. That's a pretty tight fit. There we go. So you just take that off, and you have the back of the head here with some major scarring, as you can see. And let me just get a view of the other side. So yeah, you got a lot of scars running across his skull, and it's all painted very nicely. So you also get some more details on the inner part of the helmet. All the electrical wiring and chips and microchips and stuff, so that's all there. Really nice. So in my opinion, the likeness for this figure, it's gonna get a 9 out of 10. It doesn't get a perfect 10 because of those minor inconsistencies that everybody's talking about. I do agree with them, but people just were being too harsh, you know? That's why it's not a lower score and it's a 9. Alright, so stick with me, guys, and we're going to cover the next category. Alright, now we've made it to the category of outfit. And I gotta tell you guys, this category is probably my favorite category with this figure, because everything is pretty awesome. The tailoring on the cape, the tunic, it's all a really nice material, like a velvety feeling. I gotta say, it's better than the material that they use on the sideshow Darth Vader. And don't get me wrong, the material used on the sideshow Vader was good, but I just think this one's better. You could tell it's like really high quality. Once you feel it in hand, it feels really nice. And even the padded suit as well, you know, the suit that he wears, the sleeves, the legs, that also feels really good. and the armor as well. The shin guards, they're really shiny, a glossy black. The color did change from episode 4, A New Hope, to this one. Whereas the helmet and chest piece and shoulder armor and the shin guards, they changed all of that from being a matte black to a glossy black, so it's very reflective. And the gray silver sections as well, those were a matte finish in the first movie and then a glossy finish in the Empire Strikes Back. The only downside to this outfit is that, well, there's two things. One of them is that it's a fingerprint magnet. So anytime you touch the shiny parts of the armor, you leave fingerprints. So that's a real bummer. And the other problem with this outfit is the helmet. I showed you guys before that the helmet is removable. It's not exactly fitted tightly on the figure, the helmet. So, I mean, it doesn't pop off easy, but whenever you articulate the head, the helmet has a tendency to move. So, that's a problem. But it's not all bad, because I find that all you really need to do if you're ever gonna articulate the head, just to grab it by the face, like the cheeks right here, and just move it that way, left or right or whatever, or up or down. Just be careful with the tusks, because you never know, those might fall off. So yeah. There is one other thing I forgot to mention, the light up features. You remember I was talking about the sideshow Darth Vader. There is one thing that figure got right. It's the light up functions. So this chest piece and the light up boxes on the belt, on the sideshow figure, there's a switch on the back that just, once you turn it on, it basically just turns on all of the light up features. But that's not the case with this figure. Basically every light, this box, the chest box, and the light up arm, they all have their own individual switches to turn on and off. So you can imagine that can be a real pain in the rear to just turn every little single light on. And yeah, it is. It really sucks having to have to do that. But once you got it on, it's all good. The only thing you have to worry about is having to turn them all off again. So a lot of people might not want to mess with that, but I, on the other hand, do, since I do have the soap reactor. So yeah, for those of you that don't know how Darth Vader's suit works, the reason he wears it is to keep himself alive, basically. Since he was heavily injured in the fight with Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 3, basically he's holding on by a thread his life. If it wasn't for this suit, he'd be dead, basically. So this belt buckle thing that you see here in the middle, that controls his audio sensors. Basically everything that he hears goes through this little speaker box. So that controls that. And then the boxes on the sides on the belt, those are used to control various mechanisms, like his respiratory and temperature functions. And the box on his chest, that is for his feeding controls, basically, because he can't eat like you and me. Basically this box controls his blood sugar, all those levels, his nutrition, all of that. The only time he can eat, if you would call it eating, is whenever he's in his meditation chamber. He basically just hooks a tube into himself and feeds himself that way. So yeah, now you know how some of the functions of his suit work. I think also his throat was burned as well, because since he was in contact with the lava and all that, and he was heavily scorched, so his vocal cords and all that, they were burned as well, so he basically has to use a speaker box to talk. That's why he sounds the way he sounds. So, because of those things that are kind of a problem with the outfit that I mentioned, I'm gonna have to give the outfit a 7 out of 10. You know, if it wasn't for all that, then yeah, I'd say it was a perfect 10. But because of all that hassle, and also the changing of the light up arm, I think that was the worst that I had to deal with this figure. Changing the regular arm to the light up arm. It took me forever to do that. So that's why it gets a 7 out of 10. Along with the other issues of the outfit. Alright guys, so stick around and we'll cover the next category. Okay, now we've reached the category of articulation. And let me just run through all of the articulation. So starting off with the head, you do get a 360-degree turn, but you have to be mindful of the armor piece on the chest here. You don't want to rub the mask section on that because it can scratch it, so. But yeah, it can turn the full 360 degrees if you want, and it doesn't really look down that much, and it doesn't really look up that much either. The reason it doesn't look up that much is because the back of the helmet here runs into his back, so it does pop off if you have him look too far up. And he does have a little bit of an ab crunch, but not really. And the waist, he can rotate from side to side a little bit as well, but not too much either. He does have a double bend at the elbows. Standard wrist pegs for the wrists. But the only problem is that since he has gloves that extend all the way to the forearm, you can't really move them that much. And also the gloves come in fixed positions as well. It's a soft plastic, but still there's not much movement. And then moving on to the crotch area, he doesn't really kick forward that much. I don't even think it's 40 degrees, but he does do the splits about 40 degrees, but no more than that because of the outfit. You don't want to rip it, so good bend at the knees, but I don't think it's double bend. It might be double bend, but I don't want to take the risk to bend it that far because I don't want to damage the suit. I don't think it'll allow it to go that far. And then okay movement in the ankles. They do rock a little bit, and they go upward and downward a little bit as well. And as for the shoulders, they don't really go out that much because of the shoulder armor. If it didn't have that, then they would go out farther, probably a perfect 90-degree angle. But yeah, that's about it for the articulation. So overall, for the articulation, I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10. It's not the best articulation, but then again, he is Darth Vader. But I don't know, you know, sometimes in the movies I see him moving like acrobatically. So maybe they could have done a better job. And for this pose, I obviously got him slicing off the wind turbine when he was on Bespin fighting Luke. Alright, so stick around for the next category. Okay, so we've made it to the last and final category, which is accessories. But before I get into the accessories, I just want to do a quick comparison. These are my only two for now, and they both represent Darth Vader. But this one is the Hot Toys Dark Side Anakin Skywalker. Darth Vader in the suit is taller than Anakin Skywalker, so I believe that it is accurate. So, alright, let's get started on the accessories. First and foremost, the base. This is an awesome base, to say the least. Hot Toys outdid themselves with the paint applications and everything. You see the scorch marks of where Darth Vader cut the wind turbines off. And then obviously the light up function. There is one thing I'll say about this diorama base. They put the light switch for it exactly where it needs to be. Hot Toys lately has been not doing such a good job on the light switches for light up bases. For example, the lava base for the Dark Side Anakin Skywalker, they have the light switch on the bottom. that presents a problem, because if you want to turn it on, how are you going to do that? You have to take your figure off the base and lift the stand, basically. So that's a real pain in the butt. So I'm glad that this time they put it right behind the base. Good thinking. So yeah, it's an awesome base, but I'm not going to be using it simply because it's just going to take way too much space in my display case. As you can see, the hole right there in the center, it's for the stand. It's nice that they added that, but I just wish it came like with a cover. I mean, just in case you don't want to use the stand itself, because you don't really want to have a hole there on the floor if you don't want to use the stand, you know what I mean? So it would have been nice if they included a cover just to cover that hole, like they did with the lava base over here. You see it has the cover on it, so the hole is not exposed. So yeah, that would have been nice. Other than that, it's a good base. So moving on, we have the non-light up lightsaber. Really nice. Really good paint job and everything on it. It looks exactly how it's supposed to look. Yeah, really awesome. And then we got 10 hands in total. So starting off on the far right, we get the Force using hand, or you could use it to do the pose that everybody does, which is Luke, I am your father, or join me pose. You could use it for that as well. Or you could use it as a Force choke. Then you get the hand for holding the lightsaber, the left hand. And then you get these hands, which are for resting his hands on the light up boxes, the green boxes. His signature pose stand, I guess. And then you have a right pointing finger, so you can use it for when he says no disintegrations, or when he says all too easy. So yeah, really nice. And then you got another Force using hand. It looks like, I don't know, like a Force push or a Jedi mind trick, something like that. And then you get the other hand for resting his hand on the green light box, and the non-light up arm, and the right hand for holding the lightsaber, and another Force using hand. I believe you use this hand to stop the laser bolts from Han Solo's blaster, and then he just Force pulled his gun out of his hand. So that's cool that they included that. And then you get an extra pair of wrist pegs. And then you get the motion blade lightsaber. And then you get spare pair of buttons. So just in case the buttons on the belt fall off, you have spare ones there. And you also get an instruction manual. And as I always state, read your instruction manuals, guys, because I really needed to read it because this light up arm was a real pain in the butt, as I've said many times already, to put on. So I had to look it up on the instruction manual to see if I was doing it properly. I was, but that doesn't mean I wasn't struggling. So yeah, speaking of the light up arm, I forgot to mention that the figure also comes with that, and it also comes with batteries. I left those in the box because I won't be using them. Can't really think of anything else it could have come with. Maybe the meditation chamber instead of this base. Could have come with that. But I'm happy with this base, so you don't really need that. So for the accessories, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, it could have come with the arm that has the chopped off hand, but obviously that didn't come from this movie, The Empire Strikes Back. That's from The Return of the Jedi, so that's why they didn't include it. But that's okay. As I said, the accessories gets a 10 out of 10. So for the total score for this figure, the Darth Vader from Empire Strikes Back, it's going to get a 46 out of 60. Simply because where it suffered most was the packaging, the outfit, and the articulation. But it's not the worst score either. I do recommend this figure. It's pretty good. It's gotten a lot of hate. I don't know why, but it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. If you like Star Wars, then you'll like this figure. So alright guys, so that wraps up this review. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, as always. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And until next time, guys, I will catch you all in the next video. Bye, guys.